I'm Amie Simpson with Brownfield Ag News, and we're here with Jennifer Blackburn, Vice President of Communications with National Sorghum Producers. So we're talking about Commodity Classic. It's right coming up. It's next week. Tell me a little bit about this and what we can expect from this year's event.
Sure, Amy. Commodity Classic is going to be a little bit different this year, obviously, with the virtual setting that we're encountered with. So as a whole, I would say Commodity Classic and our partner organizations that help put on this event have been working really hard to provide farmers with that same great level of education opportunities and networking. Obviously, we know we want to do that in person, but I think they've put together a really great program for this year's Commodity Classic.
And adding off exactly just that, those programs, what can farmers or attendees expect to take away from some of those sessions this year?
Yeah, so learning sessions and education sessions are a staple of Commodity Classic. And I know that those same level of opportunities are going to exist for this year's Commodity Classic. So farmers can go on to the Commodity Classic website if they're registered and attend those sessions. There's going to be different events highlighting our sponsors and different opportunities to hear from leaders of each of the commodity organizations, like there always has been. So one of the staples of Commodity Classic is the big general session. And this year they're actually splitting that into kind of an opening session and a closing session, but it will still contain that chairman's roundtable with the corn, soy, wheat equipment manufacturers and sorghum leaders, as well as, Secretary Vilsack has been invited. He's been a keynote speaker for this event in the past. We're waiting on that confirmation hearing, but he is invited to speak at the end of the general session at the closing of Commodity Classic as well. So those are some staples that are still going to exist and be, big features for Commodity Classic and a good highlight for producers.
That's great. And, there's a lot of talk about people wishing we could be meeting in person, obviously, but with the virtual setting, do you think that kind of also provides some opportunities for maybe more people to participate or a different kind of someone to participate who maybe couldn't in previous years?
Yeah, I definitely think so. For our industry in particular, a lot of our farmers are from the South Texas area and they're actually planting at this time. And so traditionally, Commodity Classic is an event that they would like to attend that maybe they don't have time to do that in person, to take away from that planting time period and do that. So we're looking for the opportunity for this expanding to producers that may not traditionally be able to attend. There's just benefits as a whole. We recently held our annual DC fly-in, and fly-in is, flying into Washington and getting to visit with those legislators in person. But we did that all virtually this year and found a tremendous amount of benefit. And that being just engaging people that traditionally wouldn't be able to attend at that time and covering a lot more meetings that we couldn't have the bandwidth to do in person. So I just think there is going to be a lot of tremendous benefit to that. Certainly we don't want that to become the normal. Our farmers, they want to meet in person and we want to see people in person again. But with the situations and the cards that we're dealt, we're definitely making the best of this situation.
Sure. And, what policy issues, you mentioned DC Fly, and I know policy issues usually come up in that, what are some of those issues that are top of mind for National Sorghum Producers?
Sure. So I think with the current landscape, we're in a new Congress and administration. There's a lot of different things that we're looking at. Sustainability and the climate discussion is certainly top of mind for our organization and a lot of other organizations. Trade will always be an important topic. Most of our grain is being sold into the export market right now. So we're keeping a watchful eye on policies that are being developed and discussions taking place there on the international stage. A farm bill is approaching. I think it's a little early on those conversations, but it is coming soon. And then, just regulations. We're going to have a new environmental protection agency. We just recently submitted comments relating to atrazine, a very important crop protection tool for sorghum. And so we continue to keep a watchful eye on regulations that are impacting our producers and our industry.
And any other goals for the organization during Classic or beyond that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so certainly, one, we want to get through it, right, in this new setting. But two, I think making sure that we're represented well and that we do provide those opportunities for our farmers. One of the keystone events for our industry is recognizing our annual yield contest winners. And so we're looking at new ways to do that in person. We actually are holding a virtual industry forum on March 1st that our sorghum producers who not only participated in the yield contest, but just our industry as a whole, we're opening it up to our entire industry. And that's an opportunity too, that they can attend this event virtually where they may not be able to in person. But we want to make sure that we're recognizing our yield contest winners for their achievements in the last growing season as well.
Sure. And anything else top of mind we didn't touch base on you want to make sure is mentioned?
I don't think so. We're really looking forward to it. I would encourage producers that are interested in attending to go to commodityclassic.com. If there are sorghum producers listening that are specifically interested in our event, that's at sorghumgrowers.com/yield 2020. So lots of information online. And if they need any help or consideration at all from the National Sorghum Producers, feel free to reach out to our office.
Perfect. Well, really appreciate the time. And I'm going to do an out cue. That was Jennifer Blackburn with National Sorghum Producers. I'm Amie Simpson for Brownfield.